Welcome to Elselah Books Podcast. Today, we're diving into the core principles of biblical parenting, really drawing from the insightful work of Charles R. Swindoll. We're going to take these big, sometimes overwhelming ideas and distill them into a clear, actionable journey that any parent can start on.
You know, this quote from Swindoll just perfectly captures the whole idea, doesn't it? The point is, parenting isn't some checklist of tasks you just have to power through. No, it's a journey of discovery. It's about getting to explore this totally unique and fascinating universe that is your child. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 5 key areas: discovering your child's bent, unpacking ancestral baggage, shaping with loving discipline, the essential art of delight, and finally, navigating relational storms. So let's jump right in with the absolute foundation, the blueprint for really understanding your child.
Okay, so part 1. This is all built on one single, powerful idea, and it's this: every single child has a unique, God-given design. Our job as parents, it's not to create something from scratch or force our own will onto them. It's to discover and then nurture the incredible design that's already there.
And that brings us to this key concept, the child's bent. This whole idea comes from Proverbs 22:6, which talks about training a child in the way he should go. That way is their bent. It's their individual personality, their natural talents, what they're genuinely interested in. It's the very essence of how they were designed.
And I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. We can't compare our kids. That's like complaining that a Da Vinci isn't a Rembrandt. They're both masterpieces, right? Our job is to appreciate the one-of-a-kind original we've been given, not try and turn it into something else.
All right, part 2. This is where it gets really interesting because we're going to build on that last idea. While every child is absolutely a unique masterpiece, they don't arrive as a blank slate. They carry an inheritance, a set of family patterns passed down from one generation to the next. And the term used for this is so vivid: ancestral baggage. Think about that. These are the negative traits, the harmful patterns that can run through a family tree, passed down just as surely as you pass down blue eyes or curly hair. And you know, the Bible gives us this incredibly clear case study with Abraham's family. You can literally trace it. Abraham lies. Then his son Isaac tells the exact same lie. Then his grandson Jacob becomes a master of deception. See the pattern? That baggage just gets heavier and heavier, until Joseph. He's the one who makes a conscious choice to finally break that cycle with honesty.
So, okay, we know our child's unique design, and we're aware of this potential for inherited baggage. So what's our job in all this? What do we actually do? Well, that brings us to part 3, shaping them with loving discipline. It's all about setting up the guardrails for their journey.
And this is such a critical distinction to make. There's a huge difference between loving discipline and abuse. Look at the aims. Abuse is about punishment, and it's motivated by anger, and the result is fear. But loving discipline, the goal is correction. The motivation is love, and the result, believe it or not, is security. You're trying to shape their will, not crush their spirit. Huge difference.
So how do we do this in a practical way? Well, here are 4 key principles. First, start early. Don't wait. Second, stay balanced. It's not just consequences, it's also instruction. Third, be consistent. This one's tough, but so important. And finally, be reasonable. The discipline has to fit the situation.
Okay, so we've got the guardrails in place. Now, let's shift gears to the real heart of this whole thing. This is the emotional core of the parenting journey, the incredible power of connection. It's about connection over constant correction.
Because, great parenting is so much more than just behavior management. It is about actively and vocally delighting in who your child is, just taking joy in them. That is what builds their self-worth. That's what tells them deep down that they have incredible value.
And to make this super practical, here are the 4 L's of delight. It's so simple. It's about lingering, just being with them, listening, really hearing them, learning, being curious about their world, and of course, laughing with them. It's about creating this atmosphere of pure joy and acceptance. But life isn't always that simple, is it? What happens when the journey gets really rough? Let's talk about the hard stuff. Part 5 is all about navigating those relational storms. When a child's natural push for independence takes a turn into actual defiant rebellion. And what's great is that this approach doesn't shy away from this reality at all. In fact, it offers a really powerful model for how to respond, and it draws it straight from one of the most famous stories ever told, the parable of the prodigal son.
And that story gives us this incredible 3-step framework, all modeled on the father in the parable. First, he lets go. No lectures, no trying to rescue his son. He lets him face the real-world consequences of his choices. Second, he waits. He watches, he hopes, but he doesn't chase. And third, when his son finally comes home, what does he do? He welcomes him with immediate, over-the-top grace, full restoration, no condemnation.
So when you boil it all down, the ultimate takeaway isn't some simple 1-2-3 formula. It's actually a profound question that every parent has to live with. It really comes down to this. How do we balance our responsibility to shape the arrow while at the same time honoring the unique, beautiful way it was designed to fly? And finding the wisdom to live in that balance, well, that's the beautiful, challenging, and ultimately rewarding art that is at the very heart of the parenting journey. Thank you for listening, and do subscribe to our channel for more.